all the lines around the world. That's what you're going to learn about today, so get ready to learn something useful. So I'm Mr. Ray the Teacher. There's the social media I use. Also, do subscribe. Don't think I'm using this bad boy too much anymore until the whole geopolitical thing settles down. Let's move on. So today, learning social sciences, geography. The topic is your basic skills and focusing on reading the maps. That's the globe, longitude, and latitude. If you didn't get it, that's where the lines go, that way and that way. Alrighty, and also don't forget to please subscribe. I do put new videos up, and yeah, spread the word. So let's get started. The globe. Surprise, the Earth is not flat, it's a sphere, or kind of flattened out one. So it can be divided up into vertical lines running east-west. So there you go, an east-west direction. And with that one, we'll just chuck some numbers on board here in the middle. If you didn't notice it, these numbers here, we're just putting them in. And they meet at the North Pole to the north and the South Pole to the south. And these are lines of longitude, also referred to as meridians. Then it can be divided in horizontal lines. They go towards the poles from the equator. So you've got them always being parallel. That means they never touch. And with that being the case, the center is the equator. That's your middle line. There are lines of latitude and referred to parallels. Here's a way to remember latitude has the letter A, and parallels has the letter A. So let's visualize this. Again, it can be divided up into vertical lines. These are your lines of longitude. So there's 0 degrees, and that's your prime meridian. Then we go 30 degrees east. We can also go 30 degrees west. We can go 60 degrees east, 60 degrees west, and you get my drift. 90 degrees east, 90 degrees west. Remember that a 90-degree turn is a right angle. That is a quarter of a circle. So there you go with that one. So for example, 0 degrees, you got 90 degrees east. Let's keep going in this direction. 120 degrees east, 150 degrees. I'm just doing this arbitrarily by a 30-degree increments. Then we've got 180 degrees. And remember that 180 degrees is a straight angle, half of a circle. That's the international date line. Then we keep going round and round until we reach back here to 90 degrees west, 60 degrees west, 30 degrees west, and we start back from where we began. Circle, 360 degrees. Your eastern hemisphere and your western hemisphere. Now we look at this globe and we're doing parallels now. Do you like my paint skills? I hope I have impressed you. If so, hit that like button, split it up, and again, I've got this line going through. 0 degrees. That's smack bang in the middle. That's your equator on horizontal. So remember, when we're going vertical, smack bang in the middle is your international date line and your prime meridian. When you're going horizontally, you've just got your equator. And it goes around the whole world. You got 90 degrees north. Remember, 90 degrees is a right angle. That's your north pole. We go south 90 degrees. Remember, 90 degrees is a right angle, quarter of a circle. That's your south pole. And we start at 0 degrees, smack bang in the middle, and I've just chosen arbitrarily 30 degrees again. 30 degrees north, 60 degrees north, then you got 90 degrees north. Now, if you keep walking, you can't keep walking north from the North Pole. You start moving south. So back to 60 degrees north again, and look at that gray line that I've just drawn here. Then we go 30 degrees north, and then look at that one. It all links up, remember. And then we go back to 0. If we keep walking south, now we go 30 degrees south. And that's also 30 degrees south there in the front. You got 60 degrees south, and you go hit bang. So if you're hitting that clockwise, so you started from 0, 30 degrees north, 60 degrees north, 90 degrees north, you hit the North Pole. Keep walking straight, you go 60 degrees north because you're going south now from the North Pole. 30 degrees north, back to 0. Now we'll keep on going south, 30 degrees south, 60 degrees south, and we've eventually hit 90 degrees south. That's your South Pole. Let's keep going. Now you're starting to walk north again. Walk north again. Remember, you can't keep walking south from the South Pole. You start moving north. And that's why from 90 degrees south, we then have 40 degrees south. Yes, 90 and 40. 40 is a lower number than 90, but remember, visualize it in the 360 way. And then, yeah, moving on with that. You've got your northern hemisphere, your southern hemisphere. They're parallel. You got your lines of longitude. So they run east or west of the prime meridian. They are drawn vertically. That means they go up and down. And I'll just put in the degree marks here. So there you go. And they meet at the North Pole and the South Pole. And the degrees of longitude are divided into 60 minutes. Each minute can then further be divided into 60 seconds. And think of this as zooming in and getting more specific coordinates. So let's look at Manila in the Philippines. That's where it is if you didn't know. And there's the flag. It's 120 degrees when you're looking at the degrees side, east of the meridian. If you look closer, and here's where you can estimate or count, it's more like 121 if you round up. But let's not round up, let's get specific. It's 120 degrees and 58 minutes east, and if that's not specific enough, then try this for size. It's 128 degrees, 58 minutes, and 38 seconds, and it's written as is on the bottom. So there's your 120 degrees there, 58 minutes there, with the 1 dash thingy, and 38 seconds with the 2 dash thingies. I actually don't know what they're called, and E stands for east. Feel free to correct me in the comments. And trivia, the Philippines is short for the Philippine Islands, hence the at the start and the at the end. If you wanted to know, it was formerly known as the Philippine Islands. Now it's just called the Philippines or just Philippines. And now let's look at the thing, just remembering that these lines are imaginary, not real, also known as meridians, and each meridian is 1 arc degree of longitude. And the distance around the Earth is 360 degrees, since the Earth is round, not flat. And the meridian runs through Greenwich, England, which is internationally accepted as the 0 degrees of longitude, the prime meridian. And the anti-meridian, halfway around the world, is at 108 degrees, also known as the international dateline. The eastern hemisphere is measured in degrees east of the prime meridian, while the western hemisphere, the other half, is measured in degrees at the west of the prime meridian. Lines of longitude, not longitude, longitude. Took me a while to figure that one out, but you see me teaching. Proud man. So longitude at a point can be determined by calculating the time difference between the time at its location and coordinate universal time, UTC, and it's pretty much the same as GMT, and there's the reason why in purple font. Practice reading. That's self-satisfaction according to Peter Griffin, if you can do that yourself. Now, if you can't, get someone to tell you. As there are 24 hours in a day, 360 degrees in a full circle rotation, therefore the sun moves across the sky at a rate of 15 degrees per hour. There's the math to back it up. 360 degrees divided by 24 hours equals 15 degrees per hour. So if a person is in a time zone that is 3 hours ahead of another person, then in theory, that is most cases, that person is near 45 degrees longitude. So there's the math there, backing it up. And we say near because that person may or may not be at the center of said time. And here are some countries that can wig us out. So time zones are defined politically. So for example, all of China runs at the same time zone, despite the country spanning multiple time zones from east to west. So there's China up here, if you didn't really know. Now you know, and knowledge is power. East to west. So here's the point. While it's already begun, and it's bright in the east, because sunrise has already happened, it's still dark in the west, because sunrise is yet to happen. All the while, it's the same time. It's still, for example, 7 a.m. So 7 a.m. out east, say in Shanghai, might be sunrise. When you go west out to where the Uyghurs are at. Yeah, where the Uyghurs are at. Hope they're having their all right. But anyway, they should be doing fine if someone intervenes, the world. Not going to get too political. Anyway, yeah, it's not bright there when it's 7 a.m. and it's not bright there where the Uyghurs are at. Not trying to be political. Hopefully we can fix that up, society. So why? Anyway, because what better way to keep a country that wants to be unified together than by letting them all share the same time zone? Yeah, think about that one. Similarly, daylight savings can also change this too. For example, you might be in the same longitude, but you might be an hour apart. So for example, if someone is in a state that is not affected by daylight savings and they're north of you, you're south of them, but you guys are affected by daylight savings, crossing that board, it doesn't magically mean you go forward or backward an hour in time. Or do you? Lines of latitude, they run north, south of the equator. So they go north from the equator, south, north. So it's going like that. They're going up or they're going down. They run parallel to the equator, means they do not touch or meet anywhere. And these lines are imaginary. They're not real. And they are known as parallels because they don't touch. Parallel. And with that being the case, parallels run up to 90 degrees north or down to 90 degrees south from the equator. And remember, 90 degrees is a right angle, and that's the maximum you can go. There's your North Pole. Keep walking north. Continue walking south, and then you hit the equator, and now you go another direction once you hit the South Pole. Anyway, each parallel is divided into 60 minutes, and each parallel can further be divided up in 60 seconds. Think of it as zooming in. So here is Bob. He's walking. He keeps walking north. Now, I've been walking north, but from here on in, if I keep walking straight, I'll end up going south. If you didn't get it the previous expectations, you probably get it now. And he ended up. Anything north of the equator is known as the northern hemisphere. Anything south is known as the southern hemisphere. There are 4 other important parallels besides the equator. They are the Arctic Circle, the Tropic of Cancer, the equator, the Tropic of Capricorn, and so just put those here. Those make up your tropical regions. And then you've got your temperate zones. And now you've got your frigid zones. And lastly, you've got the Antarctic Circle. Sorry for the ordering there. Anyway, where is Antarctica? It's in the Antarctic Circle, and the North Pole's up north, 90 degrees north. That's where Santa Claus lives. The South Pole's 90 degrees south. And just remember, there are no polar bears down there. I didn't know that until I was in university. So if you're watching this in high school, you're already progressing better with your education than I did. Only polar bears are in the north near Santa. Santa's real, trust me. And marking coordinates. So just going to quickly go through this. Lines of longitude and latitude work together to find us coordinates of a particular place. I'll go more in depth with my map video. So they're marked with meridians. Lines are marked there on maps often. So those are lines running vertically. And parallels, those are lines going horizontally. Put them together, you've got a grid. And they intersect. That's your key word. And they can be used to locate any. So let's apply our knowledge to Manila of the Philippines. Here we go. That's where Manila is if you didn't get it. And with that one, look at degrees. It's 120 degrees east meridian. But if you look closer, so we could round it up as we were saying before. So we've got 128 degrees, 58 minutes, and 38 seconds east. So let's put that up here. Let's make a note of it. The longitude is that. And now let's find the latitude. Same process. So we look at the equator. It's 14 north. We look really closely. So it's 15th, but let's be specific. 14th degree north, 35 minutes, 40 degrees, 35 minutes, 45 seconds north. You would write it like that. So let's shove that up there. Whoop. The coordinates would be written as this. So you put your latitude first, then you put your longitude second. And that's why it's written as 14 degrees, 35 minutes, and 45 seconds north. 120 degrees, 58 minutes, and 38 seconds east. So you may get some variation between sources, but that's okay. As long as you can apply the skill, then, well, that's all I ever ask, and that's all your teacher ever asks, or that's all ever society asks or expects. And you can't do more than that. Just that shall suffice. So what you learned today, in summary, if that's when someone asks you, don't waste the taxpayer dollar. If you go to public school, you learned about lines of longitude. So they are vertical, go up and down, and run in east-west direction from the prime meridian. They all connect to the north and south pole. Lines of latitude, so they're horizontal. They run left to right, and they run north and south from the equator. They're parallel and never touch. 90 degrees up from North Pole is North Pole, and 90 degrees down is the South Pole when you're coming from the equator. And they form a grid because they intersect, and using the coordinates, they can locate any place in the world. So thanks for watching. I know it's been a mouthful. I'm going to try and clock off before we hit 15 minutes. So don't forget to subscribe, check out my other videos. And also spread the word if this helped you out. Tell your classmates, your friends, or colleagues, especially if you're a teacher using this as a lesson. Also, feel free to check out my Patreon. Feel free to support me if this video helped you out in your test, or give it a thumbs up. That also helps. Watching the ads also helps too if this video has been monetized. Also, special thanks and shout out to the following: my geography teachers, Ms. Byron, Mr. P, and Mr. C. Stage 4 and Pam, my stage 4 geography class, that was for you, and National Geographic. So remember, study hard for a bright future, and catch you on the flip side. Ciao for now.